Node Fundamentals Cloning to create a new module. Welcome to this CodeWins video tutorial. My name is Jeff Barczewski, and I will be your host for this program. In this tutorial, we will create a new module workspace by cloning a Git repo, which has a basic set of files we will use for our new Node module. We will customize those files for our project, and finally commit the changes to our new local Git repo. To create a new Node module, we could start with an empty folder, but then there are quite a few files that I would like to have to really be ready to start my development. So I like to have a base set of those files in a Git repo, which I can just clone to get started. For this example, I will clone my repo, but you can just as easily fork mine or create your own for your projects. Open github.com/jeffbeesky/bear-js in your web browser, and you can view the repo we're going to clone. It has a git ignore, the JS hint RC, a Travis YAML, a license file, readme, package.json, and a test directory. An easy way to get the clone URL for a repo is to copy the clone URL from the right side of the screen. There is a handy copy button, which if you click it, places the URL in your clipboard. Now, I will switch over to iTerm 2, where we can finish the clone process. I type git clone, I paste the URL from my clipboard, and give it the new directory name for the module. This pulls down the files. I cd into that new directory, and I can list to show that we have all the files. You will note that as part of the clone process, it created a .git directory from our repo. But since I want this to be a brand new project, not associated with my bear.js repo, I'm going to remove this directory and create a new one. rm-rf.git will get rid of the directory, and git init will create me a new one. Now, I am going to make a few changes to these files to customize it for my project. I'm going to start with editing the README. I think it is a really important step to start a new project by first writing the README. This does a few things. It allows you to put your goals of the project, why you're creating it, and I like to create an example of how I will use the module. I can work on the API until I'm happy with it and how it feels. Once this README has been created, I can check it in and share it with others even before I start coding. Throughout my development process, I continue to edit the README first with any new features and options before I add the feature in code. This makes sure that my code stays documented and up to date. So using your favorite editor, edit README. So editing this file with Emacs, I'm going to bring it up. I'm going to select the repo, which I've used as a token throughout the file to represent the module name, which I'm going to change to hapi-lapsed. I'm then going to add the description. And I don't really have a long description, so I'm just going to go ahead and delete those extra lines below that. Going down to the usage section, I'm going to update the API that I want for this module. I'm going to create a JavaScript example. To create plugins in Hapi, you can pass in an object with the plugin name and the options. In this case, I just have an empty object. And for this module actually want to listen to log events. So I'm creating a function that will listen, and specifically I'm looking for ones that were tagged elapsed. These will be the events that I will be creating. So then as I receive these events, I can do something with them. In this case, I'm just going to log them to console log. And now finally, to require the plugin, I call server.pack.require with the plugin options I created above. And if there's an error from the plugin, I'll go ahead and throw that so that we can take care of that immediately. Otherwise, we can continue on with the rest of our server setup and start. Now I'm going to add some goals. In this case, I want this plugin to compute the elapsed time from the beginning of the request to the end. I want to emit a log event with the elapsed time. I think it's a good idea to have a why section for your README explaining why you created this module. In my case, it's just going to be a good example for how to create a hapi plugin. And now I'm going to adjust where the module is. Actually, I'm going to put this in the CodeWinds organization rather than Jeff Bieske. So I've replaced all the Jeff Bieskes with that. So at this point, I'm ready to go over to the package.json and make some more changes there. I'm going to go ahead and replace repo with hapi-elapsed. I'm going to replace Jeff Bieske with CodeWinds. I'm going to grab the description from the README I just wrote and paste that in the description part of the package.json. Finally, I'm going to add some keywords here to help people find this plugin. If I want to set the main page that's going to be run, I can do that as well. Opening up the license file, I've got an MIT license. And if you're, you might want to change the name to your name. Other files that I have is a .gitignore, a JSHintRC for linting, a Travis YAML, which checks against Node 10 and 11, and a test directory with the mocha options that I like to use. So if we do a git status, you can see all the new files that we're ready to commit to our brand new Git repo. I can add those all with a dot saying add everything, and then I can commit. It'll dump me into my editor where I can type a nice commit message. And we can see those were all committed. At this point, we made all the initial changes and saved them to our local repo. We're ready to begin development. In the next episode of this series, we will be installing some dependencies so we can begin writing tests. We will discuss the project goals and refine our example. Thanks for joining me. Until next time, this is Jeff Barczewski with CodeWinds.